Alan Tempert, Mohave County Elections Director.
Hello.
Alan, let me ask you, being the Mohave County Elections Director, tell us about that job.
Oh, tell you about being the Mohave County Elections Director? That is the coolest job on the face of the earth. I get to help people do many, many things and help the democracy in our political process. Basically what we do is there's two types of things that we do around here. We have what the public sees, the public side, and the stuff behind the scenes. On the public side, we help people get ballot access. We help people run for office, all that cool stuff that they need to do, and all the things they need to do throughout their campaign. That's the thing that most people see, and that's the most, hey, what's going on here? Behind the scenes, though, we do lots and lots of stuff. Behind the scenes, we do anything from ballot programming. We have to do that. We have to set up the polling places. We have to get the people to fill the polling places. And in Mohave County, that means about 400 to 450 people for each election. Really what I like to do, though, is show you some stuff that's really cool. And follow me. This is going to be really great. I'd like to take you to where we do ballot tabulation. Where we do ballot tabulation, I want to show you how we tabulate the ballots. I want to show you the security behind things, how we do them, and all the really neat stuff, that you need to know that your vote is counting correctly and safely. So, come on. This is our office. It's very, very neat. Someday if you do run for office or any questions, you'll come see us up in the front of it. But come on in. First, this is my ballot tabulation room. I have this room open right now, but it's locked. Very limited access for anybody to come in. We're just a very special today so I can bring you all in and show you what it's like.
A lot of this stuff that we're talking about this is where you are on election night. Right?
This is where I'm on election night. If you want to watch what I'm doing on election night, on our website, we have live cameras. As you can see on the ceilings, we have cameras. We have cameras that hit 360 degrees across the room. They're infrared cameras, and I have these cameras on from the time I count the very first ballot until the time I finish counting ballots. Could be we'll say that could be anywhere between, a little over 5 weeks between when I'm allowed to start counting early ballots and through election night and finishing things up after the election. So you can see what I'm doing. It's not really that exciting, but this is going to be a little bit cooler. You'll be able to see the equipment to actually do the tabulation. I have an election going on right now, and what I had to do for this election, which is one of the security things, is I have to test the voting equipment after I program it. After I program it, I have to make sure that it does what it's supposed to do, that the right people get the right votes in the right precincts and such. Right here I have a test deck of 200 ballots for a very small election that's going to be happening. And our tabulation equipment, which we have 2 of them, this one we call Liberty. We name these things. They become part of our family.
Are they expensive?
They're very expensive. They're $112,000 a piece. And then you have annual maintenance on them and such to go down to the licensing. But to get the accuracy that this equipment has, you have to spend the money to make it happen. Okay? It's just a fact of life. It is the way it's supposed to be done. Now, Liberty, and we have Freedom over there. They're twins, I guess. And I would like to show you that I can count. I got 200 ballots here, but I can count about 300 ballots a minute. Okay? As we're counting, I will explain what's going on here. This is really, really cool. This is the most exciting part of my job, I think, after I get to this point. The ballots are counted, and all the ballots going down in the bottom bin are ballots that have been tabulated. If we had any write-in candidates, people running for office who were write-ins, those ballots would be going into the middle bin. They would be tabulated, but then we would have to go and acknowledge who those people were. Okay? The very top bin is every once in a while we have a ballot that kicks out. And that ballot kicks out is because something weird happened, because there's nothing wrong with the ballot, but this equipment is so sensitive, it picks up if the paper goes in slightly crooked. It doesn't read it. It kicks it out the top and tells me to look at it. It tells me exactly what to look at. So if we have too many votes, which is an overvote, I have equipment that kicks out, and then I get to, see if it indeed was an overvote the way the person had marked it, and so and so. So from that particular moment, I would run ballots through there and then keep on going through. On this past election night, we ran 22,000 ballots on election night. We ran them in about 5 or 6 hours because they were coming throughout the county from the polling places. It's because it was the distance and then the accounting for and the seals that come in and making sure everything coming from the right place and only the right ballots show up.
What can go wrong with these machines?
What can go wrong? They can break down. They're like anything else. They're like the nicest car you might buy. Something can go down. We have them maintained on a yearly basis, sort of like your, 100,000 mile, checkup. 100,000 ballot checkup, we could call it, if we really wanted to do something. But they come in and change things and such. But they can go down, but the really cool part is, if it's not functioning 100% perfectly, it shuts down. It shuts down on you and doesn't count any more ballots. So it's not like, well, it counted half of this ballot or, it didn't count these ones here, and so and so. When it's down, I know every piece of paper that goes to that equipment, I monitor. I have a little marking here that I knew I had 200 ballots. I ran 200 ballots through that system. So I know exactly, systematically, how many pieces of paper I'm putting on every time and running it, and if it is working correctly.
Are you happy with the way the returns are handled on election night over the, let's say, the last presidential election?
I am very happy. We've got a very good system in here, and it's very, very secure. Everything is being recorded 24 hours a day and is being put, into the future in case anything is absolutely needed. We have chain of custody that goes through every ballot that comes through the door from the voter registration department after an early ballot is cast. We in Mohave County voted almost 80% by early ballot for the last presidential election. We had 105,000 pieces of paper counted, approximately, and I said 80% came that way. So we had we had just over 20,000 from election night. So it's a process that I know every step of the way. I know that nothing that I'm not supposed to get and count happens.
Inside this very building on election night, we know that you do a lot of things, that you're not a one-man show. What type of staff do you have?
First of all, I have a phenomenal staff, but the elections department as a full-time staff is 4. I have 4 full-time people, including myself. Come election night, I've got about a dozen or so part-time temporary helpers, and these people have been helping me for the last month prior to with early ballots to get things together. They help process the ballots on election night. In other words, get them ready for me to put through the machine to do what I need to do. Now, something I really do want to show you, which is very important on the security aspect I talked about, these machines are what we call air-gapped. They're never, ever, ever hooked up to the internet. There's nothing hooked up to these machines except a 110 circuit coming in the plug, which is right there, as a matter of fact. So the equipment, the ballots are counted, the information is taken from the machine on a jump drive, it's put into the election management system, which is just a computer. It all tabulates itself up together. And then I take information from there and I send it to the Secretary of State's office and our website as the results were accumulated. So there's no way any voting equipment that is ever hooked up so nobody can get in and manipulate the elections.
Let me ask you, is there anything else you would like to add at this point?
Is there anything else I'd like to add? I would like to add that elections are laws and procedures, and things we need to follow. We need to follow them in this department. We need to follow them for this county, I should be saying. And we need to follow them throughout the state, which we do. So it's just not haphazard. It's not just, we decided we're going to try to do something this way. We have procedures, and we have to follow them, and we follow them to the T. So I want to add that you really need to know that voting and in Mohave County is a very secure system. What you voted is the vote that happened, and as time goes on, it's only going to get better.